The S&P breaking this 5,800 mark right here on this chart. That's where I would be concerned. Now, there might be a fake out situation where we go low kind of as these spikes right here, and you might even just want to worry about this bottom spike right here. But if we break that, I think we're rocking and rolling to the south side. Now, if this does push its way up to this bright yellow zone right here, that's if we don't get past that, I'm going to have to go short, a meaningful short, I think. Right now, for me to remain bullish just because I said I was going to be bullish going into March. You know, why not? We've had shocks before to the market, and the market has a very short memory. If the bulls just show up like nothing ever happened and just full send, then we'll just worry about it later. But that's what would need to happen to get me on board that. Right now, I am 100% watching for a lower high. So I do have longer positions, long positions. I do want to get out. I'm not actually actively short. No, I closed my QQQ puts. How embarrassing. I even bought SPY calls over the weekend. I bought the dip. So those will be absolutely toasted. They were Monday's expiration anyway. They were actually hopefully going to be green. No, actually, because I bought them Friday. Bottom Friday, they're just going to be toast. I'm getting my puts were expiring tomorrow. Those are closed. My calls, I have SPY calls for Friday. I would need a miracle for those not to be toast. Either way, they'll be gone. That being said, we're outside the expected moves. I bet we'll probably rein it back in a little bit. Is it time to go short? We're going to sell off the markets for a month. I don't know, Chris. We'll see. I have calls for Tuesday. You would need a very impressive recovery to make that. Can I look at the Australian US dollar? Yes, I can. Give me 1 second. Boom. If you're bullish the dollar, you would remain short this. You'd just be watching for maybe a bounce rate, maybe for that to hold. But if that breaks, looks like you're doing well. I would be cautious at these levels. This is problematic for the dollar to be up here, worldwide. But we'll see. It'll make a great short later. All right, jumping into the NASDAQ, same story. NASDAQ actually looks a little bit better than the just bird's eye view. Looking at the NASDAQ versus the S&P, we're just kind of grinding our way up. Now, if we really start to zoom in, it's kind of the same thing, almost like Bitcoin and the again the S&P. We're really just kind of hanging out. We saw this exact same price. Let's see, January 15th, January 9th, January 2nd, December 20th, December 2nd, November 25th, November 14th. These aren't prices we haven't seen, so we're kind of just hanging out. If you're bearish, you might call this a lower high. I don't know if I would be. In fact, since we only came up here once, I'd be looking at this level right here. We kind of hit. Someone's calling that a double top, borderline a triple top where we hit right here. Clearly some sellers hanging out at this level. So let's see if there's any buyers right here. A lot of people will look foolish making a knee-jerk reaction right now because they're going to see this gap down. They're going to panic, and they're going to lose it. They're going to sell. Somebody's out there going to be buying the dip, and it's just going to pull up like this, or it has a chance to. So I would be cautious doing that. I wouldn't freak out just yet. Tomorrow it's Monday. Monday morning, let the bankers get their coffee. Let everybody figure it out. Let everybody settle down. To remind everybody, last time the markets did pull back like this, I want to shout out to Dom. He reminded me. Robinhood with their 24-hour trading, that bank did shut down orders. And just there is volatility requirements. So when we do spike it like that, they will shut it down. So again, it's not a scam. It's just it checked a box. They turn it off. We're gonna wait for everybody else. The Donald won't let us down. Give us that entry, sir. This is just the beginning. Let's see in 60 days. Marvin the Martian. I like that guy. Let's see in 60 days. Hopefully I hope I'm not a month off. That would suck. calling a crash in March and it's in February. Like, come on. A lower low would be more interesting to me than a lower high. A lower low, kind of getting down here, would just kind of confirm that, like right now, if we pop up, yeah, I'm going to go short, but you can't really just throw the kitchen sink at it. You couldn't put a lot of weight behind it. But a lower low and then we bounce, then I can. Then I can, like, that changes things. But right now, if we were to make that lower low, I'm not really in short, and I'm going to have a hard time getting short. I like to go short when there's a green candle, not when we gap down like this. So far, just sideways the last 3 months. Yeah, and that's kind of what I want to point out before everybody freaks out, is we are just sideways. The things I do want to point out, and this is what happened last time we gapped down and sent it, over the AI bubble crashing or whatever it was, DeepSeek. And I told you guys, I came on here and said the one thing this confirms, the dip buyers did show up, but the one thing it confirms is that we are on eggshells. People are selling at the drop of a pin, or probably not people, maybe more institutions. And they're letting go of their positions. This is how they're slowly getting out. Drive a huge chunk here, let the dip buy crowd show up, get us all the way back up here. All of a sudden, tariff news. Okay, so the question is, are they getting out ahead of March? Are they getting out because the crash is here and now? There's likely something that they do know that we don't know, just given the tools they have. All right, whether it be legal or not, it is what it is. So that's what I have my eye on. And I'm just curious how many more of these that the dip buy crowd's going to pick up before we just send it, and then everybody agrees with whoever's dropping this thing and then melting this thing down. If you go out a monthly, it looks 57.65 looks like a logical support. We get a couple of days of red, type 2. Let's go to that. Let's check out the monthly. Right here? Yeah. Look at that gap down. We closed there, gap down to here. Looking at the monthly, nothing. Nothing but, yeah, again, here's December, January. I guess here's February. We're kind of just hanging out. The reason why I want to talk about the bird's eye view right now is because if you get super zoomed in, you're going to get emotional and you're going to make silly mistakes. Bird flu causing this? No. Not yet, at least. I don't think so. Yeah, it should be tariff talks. We got the tariff talks Friday night. Again, Canada and Mexico got 25% tariffs. China got 10%. So now what I got to say, what we're looking out for, I haven't seen it, but let's look out for retaliatory tariffs, because if that's the case, I think that uncertainty and a trade war starts to spark things up, and you'll probably get another push down. We're not going to hear, oh, we're tariffing stuff too in retaliation, and the markets are just going to love it. More than likely, it's going to be a green Monday, retaliatory tariffs, and we send it back down. When March jobs reports show a low number, it will confirm the negative impact on tariffs and on the U.S. economy. Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully. I know you're blaming Trump, but for the record, I literally called that out before we even knew who Trump was. I wouldn't get too lost in the sauce. I think a lot of people are going to blame the president. I don't know how much you guys give the president a lot of power. Let's not lose sight that this is just a market to move money around. Then there needs to be a leading excuse to create that panic and fear for you guys. You know, I say this all the time. Your little heads would pop if you found out the market moves and it didn't have anything to do with news. But yeah, I'd put it this way: it wouldn't be worth arguing with anybody online over. But I did post on Facebook that whoever wins this election is going to inherit a market crash, and they're going to get blamed for it. Does it want to charge to get your money out? No. I don't think so. Definitely on board with someone getting out for the past 2 or 3 months. Yeah. Exactly, Steve. Just a reason to fall. We're up here, guys. It's not hard to call out a crash, but before we get too carried away and pointing the finger and saying it's this or that, markets are fine. well, they're up. If you've been actively participating in the markets, you should be up, especially if you're following. I can't say if you're copying because I don't have a call-out service, but I do post all of my plays. And if your plays are very similar because you share a lot of the same ideas, you're up a lot too. And we're only going to be up that much further when it does crash. But I will say this is what drives a lot of why I'm building up a lot of cash right now, is because I'm going to buy everything. I'm hoping we crash. Burn this thing to the ground. I don't care what the excuse is. Burn it. I'm going to buy a lot. The most money ever made is when you can buy stuff up in a crash. All right, so we've gone over the ES. We've gone over the NASDAQ. Here's Grandpa Dow. He gapped down. He falling down a flight of stairs. Is he the only one above the 50? This is a 50 SMA. Guys, I don't use indicators. If you guys are new to me, I just worry about the price action, who's buying, who's selling, how institutions get in and out. That's just how I found the best luck. It's just kind of following bigger money. But if somebody asks me about an indicator, I do have a couple just saved, I guess, that I'll toss up. But just so you know, that's the 50. Eventually, I'll get annoyed that it's there, and I'll turn it off. All right, Russell. That thing's going zone to zone. I would have a harder time believing that one's going to push up than the other ones. What we got on the TikTok? TikTok, we need to hit that heart button. 3 new followers. So we're expecting a crash tomorrow? No. I don't think so.